All right, here we go. We got the Load Plus Helper Spring Kit, Ironman 4x4. So this is going to be a bolt-on helper spring, and I already have the timbrins down there. I'll show you those for the heavy payload, so the truck doesn't sag. But basically, right over here, these springs are just kind of shot. You can see the gap through there. I mean, they're just low. So we're gonna add the helper spring through there, and so if I get you a shot of the timbrins, you can see them right there in the very middle. It's got like an inch, maybe a half an inch before it bottoms out. So trying to give the springs a little help with this helper spring to make it to where I don't bottom out as much and give me a little bit softness on just normal driving. And then when the heavy loads come on, the timbrins will be there. There's the other one on the other side, if you can see it. But that's it right there, already installed. But we're gonna do these helper springs here. It's time to do a little something here. You can see that a lot of the play is gone. So we're gonna take a measurement from the height of the hitch here, and then we're also going to take measurements from center of the wheel well to the ground. So this one should be higher than that one, but because it's the end of the truck, so I would imagine it would be higher. But anyhow, the LP4 is the one for the GMC. It looks like the 2.5 wide inches. 2.5 inches wide, you know. So they do have a real similar to this right here. Applications, but the 2.5s is for my truck. So that's the LP4. So the other LP5, 7, 6, whatever, those are different widths of that, different widths. So we'll get this out, start piecing it together, and yeah, let's get it. All right, so here's a look at the actual helper spring, LP4. I thought they were going to be white, but it's more of a cream color, so I was going to paint them, but I may be all right with that. So here's all the hardware, all the stuff here, instructions. You got, different, let's see if I can zoom in there. So you just slide it up if you're on top of it. If your springs are on top of it, you slide it to the end there. If they're below it, you pretty much go right there. So in the other end, I mean, it's a very simple install. The only thing that I see here is on this side where it talks about the weight. A lighter weight, you want it towards the end, and then heavier weight, you want to go down a little further. And so you can kind of tailor the ride to however you want it, right? So, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's really what it looks like. So it looks to be an easy install. Again, I don't know if I'm going to paint these or not. I may just leave them like they are. I don't have black down there, so I mean, they're just kind of dirt color now. So so here's the hardware right here, all the good stuff. All right, so this is what we're working with here. It looks to the top of the ball here, looks like 20 inches to the flat side of the ball. Pretty perfect to 20 inches there. This is pre-helper spring. The center of the tire to the wheel well looks just over 36.5, just maybe a shade over it. What I did here, I put 2x4s down here to put the jack on. It rolls forward on the longer ones, or backwards, right? And then the rears are on a horizontal plane. Jacked it up on the pumpkin from there, and then set the jacks, lowered it on the jacks, and then as soon as I got pressure on it, I up the jack just once, so now I've got 3 pressure points, including the jack, because I don't have a bigger jack. That's the only one I've got. So I've got to distribute the load a little bit, and then just enough to let it hang so we can get those springs free up there and then do it. So yeah, so as you can see, I mean, those are shot. So this little helper spring is going to really help me with that timbering right there, baby. Going to ease up on the initial load, the initial bumps, and just the beginning of the payload area there. So pretty excited. Apparently these are about 1,000 pounds from what I'm reading on the Husky side from Rock Auto. So that's kind of what I'm doing on the setup with the small jack. So now you see it. That's what I did. Just using wood here to raise it up. I have the preliminary pieces in place. So basically, you just kind of want to leave these loose while you get it situated. If you tighten this one down too much, it will not allow you to put that in there. So you just want to mock it up first, and then when you start cranking down on this, it'll start putting pressure on that, and then once it's set, you can start screwing those down. I've got the front set with those two. Here, I'm just going to use a wrench on the bottom, and then I'm going to grab the socket and put it on top. And you can use 2 wrenches, but I'm just going to use the wrench and the socket here, and that'll lock it down. And I put a washer, a crush washer in between, you know, and so that's gonna, I think that's gonna help really just kind of secure that. All right, so we've got that locked down, the front 2 locked down, and we've got clearance to the side there. Gotta make sure that part right here is not going to be touching the timbering, so it's behind it, so shouldn't have any issues with that. Should be good. If it comes down to it, when I lower it down and it starts to bulge out or anything, if I need to trim that corner, I will, but I think it's going to be out of the way though. I think we're fine on that. And there's the side view, because you can see the orientation. It's kind of behind it. I just don't know how bloated this thing will get out, but I think it's hard enough to where it won't. So, but that's the only concern as far as what I see. And as you can see, I'm to the front right here. It has another bar to it, but I decided to go up to the top and do it from that. And I think we're pretty good. I didn't want it hanging down. I wanted them to go up versus the U-bolt facing down. So this is the measurement I'm using. 40 millimeters is going to be about 1.5 inches, so I'm only doing 1.25 inches from the top of the nut here, the thread to the line on the flat part. All right, here we go with the driver's side, looking for about 1.25 inches to the top of the bolt, to the top of the flat part here. That's kind of how we're measuring. 40 millimeters is approximately 1.5 inches, so we're doing 1.25 inches. Leave a little bit of room so we're not too firm on the ride quality, and we're just going to see how it goes. It looks like we're done on that. We get to lower Big Red and see where she sits, baby. Okay, so the tail of the tape after the install looks to be almost 1/2 inch. Right at 1/2 inch there from the top of the ball. Ball's got a flat spot on it, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. And yeah, about 1/2 inch from the wheel well. We were at 36.5, and I figured it would be a little bit less here, but it's just below 37. It's not quite half, and we got 1/2 near the ball, the hitch ball, and this one's just a little bit less, but I'm good with that. Nothing crazy, but it gave me a little bit of something, baby. A little bit of something. the Timberlands, you know, it gave it more of a gap there, so it did raise it up, and we get a little bit more of a cushion there before we get to the Timberlands and bottom out during our rides, and just what the old leaf springs needed. So just a little bit of help, and we get a little helper spring. So guys, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up, that like button. And again, for the measurements, I did not move the truck during this install, so everything was exactly from the point of contact and the point of reference. I did not move it. So, but I think they're pretty legit here. Little Iron Man. So one thing I want to show you here in this picture, it's got it facing up, and this one down. So I didn't use that guy. I just I flipped him around, and we went with this style. I just put a washer in between the two nuts, and I thought that was the best way to go. Here, just like that, only one washer, one nut. But 40 millimeters was the 400 kilogram. I mean, it's like 900 pounds or whatever. So again, I did an inch and a half. I mean, an inch and a quarter. 40 millimeters is going to be about an inch and a half. So I still got a little bit more room if I want to make it a little tougher. I don't know if that'll raise it more or not. I'm just going to ride around, kind of check the ride quality and everything. And if I feel like I need to adjust it, I will. But I'm just going to leave it there. But obviously, there's a little bit more room to tighten it down, and could potentially raise the truck. But an inch and a quarter gave me a half an inch. So I'm pretty good with that right now. I just want good ride quality until I'm ready to tow something, and then the Timberlands are going to take over. All right, guys, if you would, again, hit that like button, sub button. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next project. All right, check them out. There she be. So they definitely helped on the ride quality. I'm not bottoming out on the Timberlands like I was. And, yeah, talking about you. So, wow, it's pretty windy out here right now. So, but yeah, I was gonna paint them black, but you know, they're kind of tucked in there. I don't know. I can deal with that. But pretty happy with them so far. Definitely has eased the ride.